Head Welch rocked the world in 2005 as he resigned from Korn as the lead guitarist to follow Christ. And he joins us today to talk about his amazing story. Brian, it's great to have you here today.
Thank you.
Let's back all the way up in the history of your life and start at the very beginning. How did you get into music, and what was kind of the evolution that got you into doing it full time?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 10 years old. I came up to my dad. I was listening to a Queen 8-track tape, and I came up to him. I said, I was like, I want to play drums. And he goes, why don't you play guitar? He talked me into playing guitar because it was quieter, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I played guitar. I started learning solos, and I had a good ear. I just got good quick. I took some lessons and got into some bands. I met the guys in Korn, junior high, and we got into some bands and played around town. And we separated when we graduated high school, regrouped in '92 in LA, formed Korn, and we got a record deal, hit the road within 3 tours. We were on tour with Ozzy, we went gold.
Wow.
And a second record came out, hit #3 on Billboard, just started climbing, videos on MTV. Third record came out, shot through the roof, Grammys, MTV Awards, and it just took off pretty quick.
That's cool.
We were just partying and we're drinking and doing drugs like the whole time, and it just happened.
You feel like that's kind of like a you have to live up to the reputation or the persona of a rock thing, or is it just happen that because of the money, because of the fame, all the stuff becomes available to you?
Yeah, well, even before, when we were poor, struggling rock stars, we were doing meth and stuff, and you think it's fun. In the beginning, you think it's fun, and the Bible says there's pleasure in sin for a while, and so we dove into it. I mean, head first.
Yeah, and one of the things that you talk about is how you said in the early days you guys were actually really messed up on drugs when you wrote your first album. What role did drugs play all throughout the touring process and being a part of Korn?
Well, mainly we just tried to drink. And drink beer and stuff, but there was cocaine around. We quit meth when we started touring. I slipped up. When I was at home, I would do it. But I would switch to cocaine. If we ever did drugs, we did cocaine, and then weed came later. It's crazy. It's like pot came later. But I never got into pot. I was just beer and some cocaine. I liked to snort back then, and it got out of hand.
When you first started to see Korn develop and grow, what were you guys' goals and aspirations for the band?
I mean, when we started this thing, we thought we were going to do like 300,000 records, and that was like huge to us. When we started selling millions and millions, and it took off, we were like, it was way bigger than any of us thought.
Yeah.
It's like radio grabbed a hold of us. At first, radio said, they're too heavy, we can't play you. So we thought we were just going to be a big underground heavy band. And then all of a sudden, radio jumped on it, and the kids poured into radio, and it just blew it up. MTV listens, if radio's playing, then MTV gets it, and it just took off. It got bigger than what we thought, and when it got really big, we all kind of cracked in our own way, There was fights, it was just, we were nervous, and it was weird, because it was like superstardom.
Yeah.
I mean, we go to MTV and there's girls crying and stuff. We're going, we're just some dudes
Bakersfield.
we're some Bakersfield dudes, and there's people freaking out, just like, God, and it just was freaking us out, and the singer went through massive alcoholism, and he had to quit the band, or I'm sorry, he had to quit drinking, so he was going to die. He was getting suicidal and stuff, and everybody in the band went through some kind of addiction.
What is it about success that just causes people to come unglued like that? As you watch your friends, these guys that you'd played music with since junior high, change in all these different ways, how did you process that, and how did success do that to you?
I don't know, man. It's just when you're dreaming about it when you're a kid, and it happens beyond your expectation, you're just going, what's going on? And then I see all the stuff that's coming with it. The money came, the fame came, the fans came, and success and everything, but I was turning into somebody that I didn't like. And I don't know why that was happening. You know, I guess just to partying. I mean, that was killing us. And my friends that I hung out with and laughed with for years, suddenly I was finding myself wanting to get away from them because I didn't like their personalities anymore. And I'm sure they didn't like mine. And it was crazy. And the more time went by, the more I grew to, like, I don't know, just kind of, everybody's getting on their nerves, each other's nerves and stuff. So I don't know what to do. And then at home, I wanted it all. I wanted the rock star life. I wanted the money, the fame, but I wanted a girl at home that would love me and that I could start a family with. So I got married on the third album right when we blew up. And we had a kid named Janaea, a little girl, and I tried for that. Just I wanted everything, and the relationships on the road were just not good, and at home it started to mess up too.
Was it the deterioration of your home life that caused you to start to search for something, or was it seeing your friends change and seeing how you yourself had changed into a person that you didn't care for?
It was the whole thing. I mean, I found myself extremely wealthy, famous, and I was enjoying it. You know, like the third record, I was really enjoying it, but then the egos came, and I started not to enjoy myself after that. And I was searching for happiness, you know, and I was like, well, why does everybody struggle to be happy in this rock star life? You know, why is everyone always angry? I mean, everybody out there is like, it's a struggle to be happy. It's not what people think. It's lonely on the road, and I don't know, it's crazy. And then when my wife ended up getting hooked on drugs, and she left me with our child while I was on the road, actually, with a nanny. I had to go and get the baby and take her out on the road. And I was like, okay, my home life's messed up. My band is like bugging me, you know, but we're successful. So it's like, I was going, I'm miserable because I can't understand why I'm not happy when I have everything.
Right.
And I can't understand why my friends aren't happy. And it just, I got messed up. I wanted to kill my ex-wife because, like, how do you do that? How can you leave us and take the money and stuff like that? And I was just going crazy. And then I thought she was the biggest loser. So I hired nannies for a couple of years, stayed in Corn, unhappy. And my heart was towards my daughter because she was at home with the nanny all the time. And then a couple of years after I thought my ex-wife was the biggest loser, I got hooked on the same drugs she was, on methamphetamines. And I started using meth in 2003, 2004, every single day. I woke up, I did it in the morning, I did it during the day, I did it at night. I would take Xanax to go to sleep. I was mixing uppers and downers, and I got scared. I was like, I'm going to quit this tour or that tour. Part of me was addicted and was like, oh, I don't care, I want the high. And most of me was like, going, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to get off this drug. I'll go into rehab after this tour. But that tour kept on going over, and then Christmas would come. I'd do it over that, and I'd take it all over the countries, all over the world. There were signs that said, you know, if we catch you with drugs, we'll kill you, you know, in some countries. And I had drugs on me, and I was like, part of me was like, I wonder if they if they kill you, if it would hurt, and maybe you just go to sleep, because it was like, put me out of my misery, you know. But another part of me was like, I got to get cleaned up for my kid. But then I would think, why are we here in this life? This life is just a big joke. My kid's gonna grow up and be like me. I mean, why should I live? You know, I was just having all these bad thoughts.
A lot of conflict and a lot of questions and a lot of struggle on the inside.
I mean, you're rich and famous, and you have all this power. You have all the best doctors in Hollywood, and you're like going, my life still is out of control. Nobody can help me, not even my money, not even myself. That's why I wrote the book, Save Me From Myself, you know?
Well, Brian, we're going to talk about that book and your dramatic change and how you got off the drugs and started to find purpose in life. We'll be right back with Brian's story in just a moment.